Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Joy of Sticks. Stickhead here with your Atari ST gaming channel, and we're doing another tier list today. I really enjoyed doing the last one, the Bitmap Brothers one. If you didn't catch it, just link will be in the description. But yeah, I enjoyed doing it. It was good to have a little natter about some games. Bitmap Brothers one worked particularly well, I think, because most people kind of know the games, very famous games. There's not a ton of them, so we were able to get through in one shot. But then I started thinking, okay, I enjoyed it. Lots of you seem to enjoy it as well, according to your comments. So I thought, I'll make some more. But then I thought, what topic can we cover? Bitmap Brothers was ideal for it, really, and then I was struggling. But luckily, Kablurg in the comments section suggested doing the power pack, and you know, it's just one of those kind of universe aligning kind of moments, because I've been wanting to do some kind of video about the power pack for a while, you know, maybe a little playthrough of each game or whatever. But yeah, Kablurg saying do the power pack. It's just perfect, absolutely perfect. So hopefully what I'm going to do here is have a natter about each game, rank them, and then show you some of the gameplay as well. So kind of a two birds with one stone with this video. So tier list, you must know these by now. Basically, I rank them. If they're absolutely stonking, they go in S, you know, and it grades down to C. And I've replaced D with F. I'm only going to put the absolute fails in F, the terrible, terrible games that just aren't worth your time. So the power pack. Now, the power pack was released in, I don't even know what year it was released in. Hang on. We've got to find this out, haven't we? Let's be professional about this. Let's be professional. Atari ST Power Pack. I think if we go to Atari Mania, they should have all the infos. Let's see. Now it says on here, it's 1989. 1989 it was released. Now, the reason I want to do a tier list of this, and why I've been wanting to do a Power Pack video for ages, is that when my uncle got his STFM, it came with this, the Power Pack. And what a brilliant introduction to the ST it was. 20 games. And of course, there are some great games and some questionable games, and we'll get to that in a moment. But it's just a really, really good introduction to Atari ST gaming. I mean, if you got an ST and the Power Pack, it'd be a while before you needed to buy any games. And that seems like folly, really. As far as pack-ins go, you don't want to discourage people from buying more games. So, you know, a pack-in with 5 half-decent games, it's probably good. You know, my favourite pack-in of all time is probably when I got my Super Nintendo with Super Mario All-Stars. So, you know, great games, but are you just going to want to play Mario platformers? No, you're not. So you're going to go out and buy some games. Now here on the Power Pack, we've got a wide variety of genres and some really good games. So from a marketing point of view, it's probably not the best, really. I'd imagine lots of publishers at the time thinking, what are you doing, Atari? We actually want to sell some games to these people. So it's a great little pack, and it came in this big black folder wallet-y thing that was really impressive as well. Lots of all the discs were kind of the same style. I'll put some pictures up so you can see them. It was just a really nice pack. You got these little instruction cards that were very useful as well. You even got some serious stuff in there. I don't remember what. Hang on, I think I've got some notes here. Let's see. What was in there? First Basic, which is actually better than ST Basic, which is the basic that I got when I got my ST. And Organizer, not sure what that is. Probably some kind of personal organisation software. And Music Maker, which is a really basic chip tracker. I wouldn't even call it a tracker, actually. There was like a stave, and you put notes on the stave, and you could pick what kind of sounds they make. It was really rudimentary. You couldn't really make anything nice with it, but, you know, it's still something nice to play with. So, all right, I tell you what, let's dive right into the games then, shall we? So we'll start off with Afterburner then. Now, Afterburner, obviously is a seminal arcade game, you know, after the release of Top Gun the movie. Is it Yu Suzuki did Afterburner? Maybe? I don't know. But it's just, what a brilliant arcade. And the ST version tries to recreate the bombast of that, but doesn't quite succeed, if we're honest. The frame rate is the biggest culprit. It's just, it's a slideshow. There's no two ways about it. It's just so slow, and that's a real shame. Yeah, so it's got to go low, hasn't it? Is it F? Is it F? Maybe not quite F. If we had a D, it'd be going in D. Oh, C or F? Is it? Do you know, it's borderline unplayable. The frame rate is so low, and most of the time you've no idea what's going on. I'm going to put it in F. It might get bumped up. We'll see. Seems a bit harsh to put it in F because it's not entirely terrible. No, it is. It's really that bad. It's going in F. Okay. Next one then. Black Lamp. Now, Black Lamp is a really charming little platformer. And it's kind of in a bit of an 8-bit platform adventure style, really. It makes me think of like Pajama Rama and, you know, like the ZX Spectrum and Amstrad CPC platformers of back in the day. So it is a bit dated in a way, but it is really charming. It's like playing a Saturday morning cartoon. It's nice. It's nice. It's going in B. I think that's fair. I know that some of you are real big fans of Black Lamp, and you will probably have wanted me to put it in A. But I think A is a bit rich. When you play it now, it does show its age. It's not a great game. But speaking of great games, here we go. We've got one right here with Bomb Jack. I absolutely adore the arcade game Bomb Jack. It's so good. The way your character can bomb around the screen, you've got absolute control over his flight. It's just great, and you know that kind of thrill of being chased and just avoiding collisions to collect the bombs. Brilliant game, and the ST conversion is really good. Not perfect. I mean, if the conversion itself was perfect, maybe it would be S, but I'm going to put it in A. I tell you one thing it's got going against it is the horrible intro music. Oh, it's so loud and abrasive and repetitive. If you've played the ST version, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, great game, really good. That was Bomb Jack was one of the games that I played a lot of in my uncle's power pack. Absolutely. Okay, now Bomboozle. Now this is an interesting one because I didn't play very much of it out of the power pack when I was a kid, and probably because I was young and didn't really appreciate puzzle games as much. But Bomboozle, what is it? So it's a bomb exploding puzzle game, right? So you've got this tile layout, and you've got to destroy every bomb on the level, obviously without blowing yourself up, or without kind of trapping yourself in, because if you blow up a bomb, it blows up the tiles too. And there are different sizes of bombs, and it creates a big chain reaction. So it's kind of a bit like a logic puzzler. It's a really good game. Is it A tier? Oh, it might be. The only things holding it back are it's a little unresponsive in the controls at times, and when you set off the bombs, there's massive slowdown. And so I tell you what, there's a really innovative thing where you can play the game in 2D mode or 3D mode. 3D, I mean, like it's like isometric type perspective, and looks great. But obviously the 2D mode, you can see more of the level. It's a bit easier to play. So that's really innovative for them to include both. I'm gonna go A. I think it is that good. It is really good. Okay. We'll see what the others do. This might get bumped down a bit. Mind you, Black Lamp's good. Oh, I'm really agonising over these. This is ridiculous. I'm going to keep Bomboozle in A, I think. No. Okay, next one. Double Dragon. Oh, this is going to be hard for me to rate. Really hard for me to rate. And I'll tell you why. Basically, it's terrible. I mean, it's so bad. It's a really, really bad conversion. It looks awful. It sounds awful. The animation is awful. The moveset is okay. There's a decent moveset, which is good for a scrolling beat 'em up. But the gameplay is incredibly repetitive. Almost everything about it is bad. And despite all of that, whenever I play it, it just makes me smile. It just fills you with this kind of, and is that purely nostalgia? Maybe. But there is definitely something about it. It's got a bit of magic. And I've had some great memories playing this. Once I had an absolutely massive falling out with my cousin about this. Because I don't know, you probably know this, but when you get to the end of Double Dragon, you defeat the final boss. But there's only one girl. There's one girl and there's two brothers. So you have to fight with the person you've played the game with, and whoever wins gets the girl. And my cousin always used to beg me to let him win so he could get the girl. And I never did. I was such an arsehole. I would never let him win. So I'd beat him up and get the girl. And we had such a massive falling out about it. I remember him turning off the ST in a huff and then me punching him. I punched him in the chest and he almost puked. Memories. So where do I put this? I mean, it's terrible. It should be like C, maybe even F. But the amount of love I have for this game, it just bumps it. I'm going to put it in B, slap bang in the middle, acknowledging that it's bad. But I love it. I love it. So I can't put it any lower. All right, what we got next? We've got Eliminator next. Now, this is a... what's his name? What's his name? JMP. John Michael Phillips? John M. Phillips. John M. Phillips. It's a game of his. So, he's notorious for making ridiculously difficult games that are also really polished and beautifully presented. So, we've got great graphics. We've got super coding. I mean, it's like raster effect that it's got to make the track move. It's kind of halfway between a racing game and a shoot 'em up. I mean, it is a shoot 'em up. There's no racing involved. You don't race anybody. You can't even control how fast you're going. But it uses that raster racing effect, but puts you in a shoot 'em up. So it's really innovative as well in a way. I think other games might have done it before, but this one does it really, really well. It's just absolutely solid. It's really, really difficult. But it does reward kind of coming back to it and trying and learning the game. Is it A tier? Is it A tier? Yes, it is. It is A tier. It's better than Black Lamp. It's better than Double Dragon. It's not as good as Bomb Jack. It's on a par with... Yeah, A tier it is. All right then, what we got next? We've got Gauntlet 2 next. Now this is a stone cold classic. Oh my word. I mean, the Gauntlet arcades 1 and 2 were both magical. Absolutely magical. Now, unfortunately, the ST version of the original, the first Gauntlet, is a bit limited. It's the same game, but it's the controls are not as responsive, and it's a bit jittery, and yeah. But this Gauntlet 2 is a fabulous, fabulous conversion of the arcade. It works brilliantly. And me and my cousin and me and my friend and various people have played it in co-op tons and tons and tons. Genuinely one of the best co-op experiences you can have on the ST. It's going S tier. It's going S tier. It's that good. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, on to Nebulous, another John M. Phillips game, another absolute bastard that will just school you over and over and over again. I've got a video of this on my channel, which is really embarrassing because I didn't realise you could jump. And therefore I failed to complete the first tower. But I have since learned that you can jump, and I'm a little bit better at the game now. It's again, superb presentation, really tight coding. It's John M. Phillips, so it's brilliant. It's not quite S tier. I think it's a little bit cruel in terms of its design. It's a bit of a memory test. You basically need to know the route through the level in order to succeed, and it's kind of like trial and error until you find that route. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It was a design mechanic that they used to use back in the day that they don't particularly anymore. But good game, good game. Okay, what we got next? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. We've got Outrun next. Now, I love the fact that where is it? I think it's on the inside cover where it lists what games there are in the power pack. It's got down at the bottom, it says, what does it say? Let me read it. Note that some larger games may take 1 or 2 minutes to load. That's basically in there because Outrun just takes an age to load. Now, bear in mind, we've come to the ST from the Amstrad CPC, me and my uncle. So, the 10-15 minute load times of a Amstrad tape to be cut down to, what's the average ST loading? I don't know, like 30 seconds or something. It was just incredible. It was brilliant. And then when we put Outrun on and we're sitting and we're waiting, I need to time it because I'm sure it's like over 5 minutes that it takes to load. But the thing about Outrun is it takes 5 minutes to load, and then you play the game, you get to the end of the first section. If you've played Outrun, you know how it kind of branches off. You get to the end of the first section and you've chosen left or right, and then in the next section it has to stop and load again. I don't know what they were doing with the loading routine in Outrun. It's an absolute joke. But then you get to the game itself and it's terrible. Oh my word. I love Outrun on the arcade. It was just an experience. This is what Yu Suzuki taught us about video games, that it could surpass just a good game. It could surpass even just an excellent game, and it could become an experience. And that's what Yu Suzuki taught us with Outrun. Outrun is an experience to play on the sit-down hydraulic cabinet in an arcade with those beautiful, smooth scaling sprites and Sega blue skies, the whole thing. And the music. Oh, the music's so good, just brilliant. And the ST, can it do? Yeah, it probably could. I mean, if you look at games like Lotus Esprit, it makes you realise that the ST could have done a good Outrun, but no, it isn't a good version. It isn't. The frame rate's slow. It's not as bad as Afterburner, but it's still bad. It's still bad. Now, it's playable. I'm not going to put it in F. It's not Afterburner bad. It's still playable. I played it the other day and completed it, got through it. There are times when there are lots of things on the screen, it turns into a slideshow and it's horrible. There are times when there's less things on the screen and it's all right. It's quite, you can get some enjoyment out of it. And you get a YM rendition of the what's it called, Magical Sound Shower, which is just lovely to hear the ST singing that tune. Okay, right, next one, Overlander. Okay, another racer. Well, is it a racer? Not really. It's kind of one of those future car shoot 'em up things. It's much better than Outrun. The driving is responsive and smooth, and obviously you've got weapons, and it reminds me of Dogs of War, actually, because you take on a mission which gives you a lump of money, and then you can spend that on upgrades to complete that mission, which is nice. It's nice that it's got that, and that kind of bumps it up mainly above Outrun, and the fact that it's smooth, it's playable. The driving is a bit basic, but still, I'd rather have it basic and smooth and playable than a slideshow. All right, so there we go. We're going in B. All right, what we got next? Pacmania. Now, this is an interesting one. Because I'm not a big fan of the arcade original, to be honest. I think a version of Pac-Man where you can't see the whole screen just kind of defeats the object for me. I think Pac-Man is about assessing the board, seeing the game state, and knowing what you need to do next. And you can't do that in Pacmania. Even in the good conversions of Pacmania, you can't do that because you can't see the whole playfield. The ST version's even worse because it narrows the playfield down. They obviously did that to try and get it to scroll smoothly. Interesting to note that there has actually been a re-release of Pacmania on the STE using blitter and stuff, so it can use the whole screen and smooth scrolling and stuff. But this version is just not good. It's not good. Now, is it B not good or C not good? What does it have going for it? The presentation is lovely. You know, the sprites and the backgrounds are really well drawn. The music and the sound effects are nice. But it's got to be the gameplay that kind of drives it. And even when the gameplay is working well, it's slow and tedious. And when it's not working well, it's just frustrating. So it's a C. Is it as bad as Outrun? It's not as bad as Outrun. Look, let's just shift it over this side. It's better than Outrun. I might bump that up to B. I might have to come back and like review these in a minute. This is hard going, guys. This is hard going. Okay, next up we got Predator. Oh no, oh, Predator is bad. Oh, it's so bad. Now, interesting to note, actually, if you bought your power pack in Germany, you didn't get Predator. You got, what did you get? Winter Olympiad 88 instead. I'm wondering if that's due to censorship issues. I don't know. Or licensing issues, maybe. I don't know. Maybe somebody from Germany who knows the answer can chime into the comments. That would be great. But anyway, in the UK here and in America, we got Predator, which is pants. It's so bad. Now, the movie, it was brilliant. I loved watching this movie. It was like nectar to my underage eyes. I loved it. Drank it in. This and Terminator and RoboCop. What a time to be alive. But the game is just rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. I mean, it's a run and gun shooter developed by a team that didn't seem to understand that the joy of a run and gun shooter is in the running and shooting. Because you run really slowly and the shooting is cumbersome. The only thing it does well is when you happen upon those Predator moments, the screen changes and you get the little crosshair comes in and tries to track you. As a kid, that was genuinely scary. But apart from that, absolutely dire. Absolutely dire. Okay, what we got next? RType. Now, RType is obviously an absolute classic horizontal scrolling shoot 'em up in the arcade. And would shoot straight into S tier if the SD had a really good conversion, but it doesn't have a great conversion. There are numerous issues. It's not as smooth as it could be. The sprites aren't quite as well drawn as they could be, and the way they've converted them from the arcade isn't great. Music's okay. Most of the game is there, as far as I know. I'm not good enough to get very far into the game, but it's got the power-up mechanic where you get that indestructible nose cone thing. I can't remember what it's called. And you can shoot it into enemies, and you get power-ups with lasers that split and bounce, and a lot of the game is there. So that's pretty good. One thing really bugs me about this game is how the enemy bullets travel. They're really jerky and they really move in a strange way that makes them hard to avoid, and that I don't understand why that is. So where's it going? It's definitely not Outrun bad. It might be Pacmania bad. It's kind of on a par with Overlander, but then I don't know whether to put Overlander in C as well. Right, let's have a shuffle. RType's going in B, Overlander's going in C. That's where we're drawing the line. Because RType, it's not great, but you can have fun with it. Like Double Dragon, it's rubbish, but you can have fun with it. Black Lamp is actually really good, just a bit dated. You can have fun with it. Okay, I'm happy with that at the minute. I might come back to it in a minute. Okay, next up, Space Harrier. Now, Space Harrier, again, it's a Sega arcade that's been converted, and it's got a lot of the same issues as Afterburner, really, in that the SD doesn't have the hardware that the arcade had to, on the fly, real-time sprite scaling, which just made Outrun and Afterburner and Space Harrier just brilliant play experiences. The SD obviously doesn't have that, so it has to pre-scale the sprites, or the artist has to draw every single scale and then it has to display them, and obviously it can't do that as quickly and as smoothly, so, which really affects it. And but it's still fun. It is still fun. And the problem is that when there's too much on the screen and the frame rate lowers, you can die to things you didn't see coming, and that's just frustrating. As a game, it's still fun. It still kind of has that arcade bombast and the feel of zooming through this alien landscape and shooting stuff. But the frustration does knock it down a little bit. Now, whether I put it in B or C is the question. I'm going to go C, a high C, I think. Still definitely worth a go. Don't dismiss it. All right, next up we got Star Goose. Now, Star Goose is a really interesting game. This is a game I probably wouldn't even looked at twice if it wasn't for the Power Pack. But it's a really intriguing little game. It's basically a vertical shoot 'em up, but it's got some really innovative twists. You're on an undulating terrain, and you're on wheels, so you're rolling along, going up and down, and your bullets actually, they don't follow the terrain, but they shoot at the angle your craft is in. I mean, you'll see it on the video. It'll make more sense to see it than me try to describe it. But so then it'll hit the ground if you're pointing down and stuff like this. It's just really well done, And there are lots of lovely innovative touches, like the level keeps repeating. You haven't got to get to the end like most shooters. You've got to pick up every there's like 6 gems of different colours, and you've got to get those and then get to the exit. You can run out of ammo, and then you go in the tunnels to pick up these weird eyeballs. I mean, it's bordering on surreal, some of this game. But they top up your ammo, and you can do the same for your shield and your fuel, I think. Just a really interesting game. I'm tempted to put that in A. And I realise that's my bias. It's not necessarily an A quality game, but because it has these innovations, because it tries to do something a little bit different, that's always going to chime with me. So it's going in A. All right, what we got next? Star Glider. Now, Star Glider is one of those games where when the sequel came along, there wasn't really much point playing it anymore. It's basically the Star Wars arcade, but better. And it's got that kind of wireframe 3D graphics, beautifully coded. But then, when you see the sequel and what they managed to move on to, that's really impressive. So, but they're in the music. We used to fire this up in the Power Pack just to listen to the sampled music at the beginning. Obviously, coming from an Amstrad CPC, we'd never heard anything quite like that. So it was really exciting. So what's Star Glider then? I can't put it in C just because the sequel surpasses it. That's not fair. So it's a low B, I think. A low B. All right, next one, Star Ray. Now, Star Ray is basically Defender. I think, in fact, in some countries, wasn't it called Defender or Revenge of Defender or something like that? It basically is. It's just a Defender clone. But it's really well presented. There's this interesting kind of parallax scrolling thing going on. Nice music. Now, most importantly, if you're going to do a Defender, the controls have to be spot on, and they're really responsive. It feels really satisfying to blast enemies. I'm going to put that B, I think. That's a high B. It's not quite as good as Star Goose, but it's a high B. It's a good game. Right, where are we next then? Super Huey. Oh my word. I still to this day, I don't know why they put this in. I guess they were thinking, just for a bit of variety, we'll put some kind of strategy flight simmy game in there, but it's a really ropey one. It's terrible. Now, it's a shoo-in for F. I mean, and when you see it running, you think, what? It's a shoo-in for F. The only thing that makes me reluctant to put it in F is the fact that it was my very first introduction to flight sims. And and it's probably why I have such a low estimation of flight sims, to be honest. No, it's not. I think what it was, it sat in our Power Pack box, and once we'd tried it once, it was like, what's this? Get it out. And we'd never looked at it again. But obviously, a couple of months down the line, when you've played everything else to death, it comes back out again, and you think, oh, let's give it another go. And in the little, the little cards, the instruction cards, there was like a quick start guide that ran you through how to take off and do the first mission and land or something like that. So I really enjoyed following it through and finally getting this helicopter airborne and doing stuff. And I think if it wasn't for that, I probably would never have looked at flight sims ever again. So, you know, I have good feelings about this game. It's undoubtedly an F. It's terrible. It's really bad. There are so many better flight sims out there. Okay, what do we got then? Next we've got Hang On. Well, Super Hang On, I should say. And now there aren't very many good Sega conversions on the ST. I mean, we've seen some really bad ones here and some okay-ish ones. But this is genuinely a good one. It's really good, actually. In terms of motorcycle racing games on the ST as well, there's not a lot. I mean, there is no second prize, which is absolutely fantastic. It's not at that level, not even close. But it is good. It is good. It's going in B, and that makes it officially the best Sega conversion in the Power Pack. And it's good. And it's one of those games where you realise actually mouse controls better in this game, and it's worth persevering with until you've got that analog control, and it's really rewarding. Good game. Let's see, last game, Xenon. Now if you watched my bitmap tier list, you know exactly how I feel about Xenon. Going right in at S. I mean, what a brilliant game. On the bitmap list it didn't go in S, did it? I'd imagine not, but this is a different scale, okay? This is how I'm justifying it. This is a different scale. But no doubt it was one of the absolute cream of the crop of these Power Pack games. In my opinion, it's one of the best shoot 'em ups on the ST. So of course it's an S tier Power Pack game. There is that niggle with the wiggle. For those of you who don't know Xenon, it's vertical shoot 'em up. You can be a tank or a jet, and you can convert between the two by pressing the space. But the ST version has this annoying thing where if you wiggle the joystick, it changes, which in theory is great because then you can do it on the fly. You don't have to reach for your spacebar, but you end up doing it by accident so much that it nearly ruins the game. And I would love somebody to hack into Xenon and take that out and just keep it as pressing the spacebar, or adding JagPad support so one of the other buttons could be a switch. Yeah, maybe I need to learn how to hack games so I can do that. But what a great game! What a great game! The power-ups, the graphics are great. It's Whitaker, isn't it, who's done the sound, the music, brilliant. And there's that sample, level 1. Get ready for level 1. What does he say? I don't know, but it's cool. Absolutely brilliant game. Right, so there you go, guys. There is your tier list for... I'm just giving it the once over now. Have I got everything in the right place? There's a couple of things that could bump up and go down, like Black Lamp. No, I'm happy with Black Lamp there. And yeah, actually, I think I've pretty much nailed it. No, I know. It's my opinion, and I know. I do actually want you to wade into the comments section below and let me know your opinions. That was one of the great things about the Bitmap Brothers video, is that actually people were really respectful and nice. But it was nice hearing your opinion when you agreed with me, and it was nice hearing when you disagreed, which games you thought should be higher, which games you thought should be lower. I definitely want you to let me know that again, and let me know why. You know, I'm trying to think which ones. I reckon there's quite a few of you that would want Black Lamp higher, for example. And maybe a few of you that don't understand why Bomboozle is so high. I don't know, but it'd be interesting to see. So please let me know what you think in the comments below, where you would rate each of these games. And did you get the Power Pack when you got your ST? And what did you make of it? Anyway, there you go, guys. Thank you ever so much for sticking with us. We've gone over half an hour. God, blimey, that was a big one. All right, take care, guys.